I love how transparent you are about like you were, just as we've been talking, you've been talking about revenue things and different things like that. And one of the things I think about a lot, I'm used to being in kind of the vendor ecosystem within
Sure.
e-commerce, development agencies, SaaS companies. And I sort of wonder why people on the brand side, the retail side, tend to be like I have a buddy I was talking to recently. We're having this great conversation about manufacturing, all sorts of stuff. And I was like, man, it'd be fun to have you on the podcast. And he was like, no, no, we can't, I can't talk, I can't talk about like there's a hesitation to talk about things. And I
Yeah.
understand that as a vendor, when you're putting out content, being transparent, that's also marketing, right?
Yeah.
And so I get that, but I'm curious if it's just a mindset shift or the reasons why you tend to be more transparent, talk about the tools you're looking into and the things that you're doing with the business and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think as on the SaaS on the B2B side, it's marketing, right? It's brilliant for the Common Thread Collective guys to be sharing case studies. I mean, it's just so smart. Podcasts, the same thing, right? I mean, it's a way to do content marketing really well. I do it because for a couple of reasons. Well, one, there's a line that we don't cross in terms of being as private as we are. We don't share specifics in terms of revenue or
Right.
margin or anything like that. But if we're talking about a baseline improvement, I can speak to those kind of things all day long, and I sort of know where that line exists, and so I try to limit it to that kind of conversation. Two, I think my goal is to hire the best people that I can all the time,
Hmm.
and so whether those people are here in Salt Lake City or whether I can attract people from across the country and bring them here. I mean, my ecom manager is a guy who relocated here from Tampa. We found him. He's a great fit. He's a stone cold killer. He's just helping us so much in terms of the amount of work the throughput, right? The work we're able to get done.
Right.
And so I want people to learn about the brand. I joke all the time. I feel like Kuru is one of the best kept secrets in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is filled with really great tech companies. And again, more in that B2B SaaS. We were talking a little bit before we started the podcast. There's a ton of great companies like Domo and Weave and so many others. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of them that are popping up and growing like wildfire in the Salt Lake City area. E-commerce, especially direct to consumer, there's a couple. There's Taft, there's Purple, there's a few folks like that are around, but we don't get a lot of the attention that those other sort of big players do. We're not out raising massive funding rounds. I mean, that's not why I'm sharing, because we have no interest in that. We're really happy with the way things are going right now. But that talent acquisition piece, where we're having those conversations right now as a leadership group around like, what is our employment and experience, our EX sort of strategy. And my version of events is I want us to become an employer of choice in the Valley and across at least the western part, west of the Mississippi, let's say.
Hmm.
I want to be able to suck people in from everywhere, find the most talented people, bring them to work for us, and hopefully have them 20 years from now look back and go, that was the best job I ever had. Like, to
Yeah.
me, that's my strategy from an employee experience perspective. I want
Yeah.
to treat people with dignity and respect and challenge them and push them, but also give them great growth opportunities.
That's
I feel
huge.
like as a manager, that's my job, is to develop people so they're ready to take the next step in their career. And sometimes that might be outside the house. It's not even part of Kuru, but those things happen. And if it happens, it's like, you get a high five from me. Let's stay in touch, speak well of us to anyone else that might be interested in coming in, and let's stay in touch. Let's go
Yeah.
golfing. Let's have a
Yeah.
drink, let's
Yeah.
have lunch and keep those relationships alive, because I can't tell you the number of people that I've like referred to my former companies and vice versa. I've been lucky enough to take or to bring top performers to work for me a second time that they were willing to relocate across the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you just do those, I think sharing that information gives you a platform, right?
Yeah.
And if you're consistent about it, you get to be known over time as someone who is X or Y or Z or sort of whatever that expertise level is.
I love that. Yeah, it's interesting. So it's like a lot of times when I ask this question and get feedback, it's like, well, for the vendors, it's marketing, for the merchants, it's not. But it's like recruiting is like everything. Like the talent that you
Yeah.
have at your company is so huge. And yeah, there's concerns. Oh, competitors might hear what we're doing, da 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 da. But like the value of attracting talent is like it's so huge.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny that
And look, if
yeah,
you can define what we're doing and you want to copy it, like there's so many tools out there for you to go be able to do that. I can't stop
yeah.
you from doing that. To
It's
me,
an
that's all boils up
abundance
to the
mindset.
execution.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
everything's in the execution, right? A good idea is, it's not that they don't. they're not a dime a dozen because good ideas are great. But it all boils up to the execution.
Yeah.
You can be jealous of what we're doing in the paid search space, but if you have the ability to actually go replicate it, that's great. Like
Yeah.
those that competitive fire is going to be there, and we should all
Yeah.
be testing out everything all the time and
Yeah.
finding the things that work, right?
Yeah.